cities have become important rather than doing blanket public policy that covers everything. I think that's very important. So it's a good time for that because people are mayors of big cities or municipal council people are beginning to think that if they had more autonomy, they would be able to do things that are specific and more related and more pertinent to their space. And so I think the big questions are the tax base of municipalities, which is a real problem. And of course, with the tax base brings the whole question of municipal autonomy, or not autonomy, but the capacity to decide what you want to do as the priority, say for Ottawa or for Gatineau, or and not having to go back every 2 seconds to the provincial government to ask if you can do that. So I think it's a real question now of whether we're going to see changes in what would allow cities, especially the big cities, to be able to have some capacity to be not autonomous, but some capacity to choose their own priorities, because especially of what we know about the importance of fixing public policy to relate to the specific case of those municipalities. And what will be really important, if I was blue skying totally, I would say that there should be 2 things that should happen. The federal government, provinces and municipalities should talk about a whole new revenue relationship. That's not going to happen, but we might as well blue sky it, and we'd have a really different immigration policy, and that may happen but won't happen immediately. But I think those are the things that's really going to make a capacity for Ottawa and then Ottawa-Gatineau and then the National Capital Region, but to really start thinking about what do we want municipalities, what are the big questions? And that's why also cities are so important now, because the big questions about how we get to live together and how we all learn to be a country that can deal with each other and can live happily with each other, the big dossiers are really impacting in cities. I mean, immigration is one of the huge ones. Who are we? What's the population going to look like? And how can we create cities that are inclusive cities and where people get to meet people of other origins, other backgrounds, and we enjoy that kind of thing. The problem now is that municipal taxes are totally based on the property tax, which means that it's it doesn't encourage new initiatives. But if the municipalities had some ability to use tax sources that are much better, that don't relate so much to the value of property, because we know there are some people who, at a municipal level, who are property rich but money poor, and that's so they're panicked about tax increases and have the right to be panicked because of the way the structure is now. But if we had a bit better tax system, then you could have municipalities feeling that they were able to make progressive decisions. The push across Canada in the next 20 years is going to be trying to do something about the growing disparity between the rich and the poor, because it really is, if you look at the figures now, it's really getting worse and worse in Canada. And I think that, again, it's the big cities who've got a chance to be able to design things that will work in that way.